January 2019, and welcome to episode 9 of Nema Outpost, a monthly Star Wars podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brittany.
And I'm your other host, DJ.
Welcome to the first episode of the new year. We can officially say this year that episode 9's coming out in 11 months.
Gosh!
Yes!
Yay!
No more saying, next year. 11 months from now, it's coming out.
Yeah, that makes it sound so much further, though.
No, but it's gonna go by fast.
Oh, of course it's gonna go by fast, but, you know.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh! I need a title. Anywho.
I know everyone wants the title.
We all want the title.
But we'll discuss how we think our things are going to be announced later.
Okay.
That's a tease for later.
Yes. The first big news that we're going to lead off with.
We're going to discuss, at least one of my favorite topics.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Galaxy's Edge expansion to Disneyland and Hollywood Studios. So we recorded our last podcast just before Christmas last year, and we said we were going to
say that last year.
Yeah, it is a little weird. But we said we were going to jump in with a podcast if something really big was announced. Well, there was a small announcement for this, so we saved it for now.
I was kind of hoping the title would be out. That would be our big thing to talk about.
That would have required an additional podcast. But Christmas Day was the day that we got the first teaser trailer for Galaxy's Edge, which officially had some at least seasonal opening dates for Disneyland being in the spring of this year and for Disney World in the fall. The teaser trailer went over 2 of the e-ticket attractions that are going to be featured, at least when this place opens up. We've got the one that everyone seems to know, or at least have an idea of, because the giant Millennium Falcon that's going to be placed in the center of the new land. It's called Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Mm-hmm. And also we got teased a little bit of another new attraction, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. So the first ride we're gonna talk about is Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, which is what was let off in the teaser trailer. The teaser trailer showed 6 people in one cockpit, which is obviously more than what you have in your normal Millennium Falcon cockpit, flying and moving around through this. I guess, I don't know if it's going to be... They showed multiple locations. They did show in the middle of space. They showed on Jakku. That could have just been the scenes.
It could have, but it could
Force
also
Awakens.
Almost be like a Star Tours thing where every time you go on, it's a different
that would be neat.
That
would be neat if they do it that way. They didn't talk about that at all. They just kind of gave you an idea of what your roles and responsibilities would be. Mm-hmm. They made it sound like there was going to be 3 groups of 2 with different jobs. You would have 2 pilots or flyers, 2 gunners, or this is the assumption I'm making, I should say. They don't say this, but the way that they broke it down makes me think this. 2 flyers, 2 gunners, 2 flight engineers, and they mentioned the flight engineers would fix the ship. So clearly there's going to be that situation where the engineer is going to need to... The ship gets damaged and you're going to need to fix it.
Leaking or something.
Some stuff like that.
Yeah.
I would hope that there's got to be a lot of... Instead of the, I guess this makes me think when they say the flight engineers got to fix the ship, what I think of is in Mission Space and Epcot.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I'd say I would hope they would improve upon that.
I think they will.
Because in Mission Space, it's like, engineer, press the button. And it's like, okay, all I have to do is reach out and press a button.
Well, the way it looked like in the video was it's pretty much like you've got the reign of the Falcon. Like, you've got you're pushing all the buttons and everything. My question is...
They do show all the things, switches flipping, but I would imagine that's not going to be... That was more for okay, watch them go into hyperspeed in this little tease. Not really what you would need to do.
Yeah, well, okay, in that video, though, they showed 6 people in the cockpit, so 2 flyers, 2 gunners, flight engineers. Shouldn't the gunners... Will the gunners get to go into, the gunning thing?
No, No, you can't have a flight simulator that big. That'd be ridiculous.
That'd be so cool.
I'm sure what they'll have windows, instead of watching forward like the pilots will, the gunners will be sat away and facing towards a window. It didn't look like
that, though.
No, but they're not going to give you all the details. I mean, imagine how hard it'd be to detail that at this stage.
I would really like it if I could sit in that chair and spin around and shoot the guns out.
The nice thing is, in probably 3 to 4 months, we're going to have Disneyland open, and we'll get videos from what it looks like at Disneyland, and then we'll be able to talk about that and understand, because we're more Disney World people.
Yes.
That what we'll be able to see when we go down there in the fall.
Right.
But I would imagine your gunners would be sitting facing the edges of this simulator that you're in, and having a window towards your gun spot on the side.
I don't know. I still think
because the way they showed it, just to be clear with everyone, they showed two. It was 3 rows of 2. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the pilots would be closest to the front because they got to pilot the ship. So the others looked so far back. I wonder how they're going to be involved in that. Like, I could imagine that the engineers would have a bunch of buttons or something along that, or maybe, I guess the way I would think about it, you know how, as stupid as it sounds, remember in episode 1 where they're looking at like the little tablet and it showed like the flow chart of how when R2 plugged in the shield generator, something along those lines with like a touchscreen puzzle game that they would have to play in order to fix something.
You know what? They could kind of connect it with L3. Remember her? She's sentient now in.
Oh, true.
The Falcon. So, like maybe
that would be a silly tie-in, but sure.
Yeah.
A really weak tie-in.
Well, I mean, they've tied that to the original trilogy.
Yeah.
When 3PO's talking to him, he's like, "This has the strangest dialect I've ever seen."
Yeah, strange dialect. Really.
Because it's fleet. L3.
Right, I get it. But the problem is that that's C-3PO talking to it. No one talks to the Falcon.
How do you know Han? Han totally talks to the Falcon. You know that.
Yeah, Han curses at the Falcon when it doesn't work. But
I'm sure when Han and Chewie
he's not having a conversation with the Falcon.
I'm sure he has a conversation with the Falcon.
No, a conversation requires 2 people talking back and forth.
Do you think? Have you seen the way Han operates in the movies? I recently watched Return of the Jedi and realized that Han is incredibly stupid. So, for me, yes, he would actually talk to the Falcon.
No, he's talking and having a conversation are 2 different things, but we're getting way off topic right now. But I would hope that the engineers, as being an engineer in real life, I would hope that would be something unique and not just like, oh, press this button to fix the ship.
Now,
the flyers I could see being interactive, although I'm not sure how interactive.
Well, I want to pull the lever.
Well, like, okay, so are you I guess it's a matter of all things we don't know. How long are you doing it? Is it like a Star Tours thing where you're on a guided? Are you going to be guided through something? Okay,
from what I heard early on when they were talking about this Galaxy's Edge park, was that you're going to simulate the Falcon, and depending on how you do on that, it's going to affect how people view you throughout the park.
Are you sure it's that, or is it going to be Rise of the Resistance?
I don't know.
Because that might be something.
It could be both, really.
Yeah, but we'll get to this because I was going to discuss. I was going to discuss this with the second ride, but the first ride, I just would hope that as the pilot, you actually do have some control over where you're going.
Yeah.
If you're trying to go somewhere, could you? Well, I guess the question. There's got to be some parameters because they're not going to have you fail. Like, you can't. I would imagine they're not going to let you just crash the Falcon and ruin the experience for everyone on the ship.
True.
So I'm sure there's going to be some guidance.
Right. True.
Some guidance. You can't, like, just fail.
I have faith.
Imagine. It's not like a video game where you'd have difficulties. Right. Where if you had little kids who wanted to fly the thing, that they would just fail. And then everyone in the group would be yelling at the pilot.
And be like, you are awful.
You terrible. So, but I think it will still be a very unique experience.
And I have faith in Disney because I just feel like they can do so well with these. Like, they put in a lot of effort. And it's not like they're dedicating an entire park to this. So they want this experience to take off.
Another thing I just thought of. They can't make... I mean, it sounds... The way we're almost describing it is like a more interactive Star Tours. And I think it's got to be something different than that.
Yeah.
Because, like, for Disney World, Star Tours isn't going anywhere. That's still going to be there. So you're going to want to differentiate those 2 rides significantly.
You know what this is going to be like?
Okay, I mean, we can talk about this a little bit. It's called Smuggler's Run. There's got to be some plot to it that's not just...
Are we going to do the Kessel Run?
If that's involved, that's involved. I can see that.
Because that would give the engineer something to do if like we're trying to get like they trying to do in Solo, like get away from the center of the storm. Whatever.
Okay. Yeah. Like it was in the movie.
Yeah.
Or something else. We're being chased by something.
I still think it could be like every time you go on, it's a different experience, sort of thing. Like you could try to be escaping Jakku, like in Force Awakens, or you could be doing the Kessel Run, or something like that.
But maybe you're right with what you were saying before, Brittany. How people perceive you here. Maybe it's how well you're able to shoot the things down. How well your group was able to do that. Right. So it's very possible.
I know you haven't been on this in Universal Studios, but the Harry Potter, God, it was like I forget, it's like called like the Forbidden Forest, something like that. It's like a Harry Potter simulator. So basically you start off in Hogwarts and you're going through...
You mean the main ride?
Yeah, you go through, I forget what it's called. You go through the entire castle and then it's like a simulator. You're like going through the Forbidden Forest, and I almost feel like that is a more advanced Star Tours, but like it's so realistic because like you almost get whomped by the Whomping Willow, and you go through like a Quidditch match. So I almost can see them doing something like this. Since I've never done it,
is it? Are you in a simulator?
It's so hard. Yeah, but you're like moving through it. It's not like the cart is in one place.
Okay, so I see what you're saying.
So it's okay. So say like a Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
So how it has the carts continuously moving through like that. You're in something like that. You're strapped in, but that thing can move around. And so it moves around and the track goes around. And you can get like, you go through the Whomping Willow and it's so realistic, like it almost comes down on you. And then you're in a Quidditch match and like they're all flying, like the Quapple and Snitch are flying around you and like the characters there. So I almost feel like that's a more advanced Star Tours because you're moving through the whole thing. I can see something similar like that with this. Like, it's not just going to be us necessarily sitting there. I think maybe the Falcon could be bit on a track too,
Well, depends. I mean, it sure looked like, just based on the trailer, it did look like your standard simulator.
We'll see.
But I would hope that it's more than
this is probably what I'm talking about, more what the Rise of the Resistance is going to be.
Rise of the Resistance sounds like a giant ride. And I mean, like... this is the way I think about it, and the way they've kind of described it in terms of what I saw in the trailer reminds me of a building as big as Ellen's Energy Adventure. Mm-hmm. Do you remember how many people could fit in that theater?
Oh, yeah, it was massive.
And how many things were going on around you, but just how big that plot of land is. And I just kind of imagine it like that, because what they show in the trailer is... Oh, I should go through what they describe first. And actually, Alicia Stella from Theme Park Stop podcast got a couple of bits of information that have been thrown around. One, this Rise of the Resistance ride is 28 minutes long. Yeah. So that is one long ride.
And it has about...
For comparison, Star Tours is 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So you're talking about 6 times the amount of Star Tours.
And it has about 300 animatronics, allegedly. So that's massive. I mean, if you're looking at where they're building it in Disney World, they're building in Hollywood Studios where the backlot used to be, so...
Is that where they are?
Yeah. They took out the backlot. So they have a lot of room to work with back there.
Okay, so she has a brief description on what is actually happening. She says on her podcast... On the ride, the guests are invited onto a Star Destroyer, and then are taken prisoner by the First Order. Then members of the Resistance come to rescue the group of people, and then, of course, after that, then they ask you to join the Resistance and fight against the First Order, eventually meeting up with Kylo Ren at the end. I would think that aspect sounds more of like Toy Story. What is it? Toy Story, right? I'm sorry.
Midway Mania?
Midway Mania, or something advanced along those lines where you actually have a blaster and you're shooting First Order stormtroopers. But the early part, I think what they showed in the teaser trailer was a trackless cart that could fit about 8 people, led by a droid, and you're kind of going through the Star Destroyer at that point.
Right.
let's see. Yeah, at the end, you make it through that, you get back to the planet, and you'll be a hero of the resistance and celebrated throughout the land. So what Brittany was saying earlier about your reputation, I would think that, how well you do fighting against the resistance somehow follows you along. Maybe with the magic bands.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Like it registers whatever position you're sitting in with your magic band.
Yeah.
And then when you go to pay or something like that at the food court, it makes some comment about how well or how poorly you did.
Like, you are awful.
It's lucky that you're alive.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
No, but I think that sounds incredibly cool, and that's why I'm so glad Disney has the right to Star Wars, because only they could do something really like this and really just take it to the next level, because Star Wars is this rich universe of planets and characters that you can just use and build a lot on. And I know that I think most of the thing is supposed to be on a planet called Batu, which we don't know if it's going to appear in 9.
Wow, Batu, that sounds way too close to something else. It rhymes, actually. Come on. Disney, be a little bit more creative.
I think it should be Mustafar, but
What? Galaxy's Edge?
Part of it. Like, you can travel there.
No.
Because it's going to be an important episode 9, I'm telling you that now.
This has nothing... Look, this is a Star Wars land. I get...
It's set in the sequel era.
Right, but it's about Star Wars. You're telling me Jawas won't show up here?
Well, they'll be in the launch bay.
The launch bay is closing, obviously. Why would the launch bay be
open? They're connecting where...
They're connecting that?
I think so.
So, like, behind Toy Story? Oh, my gosh.
No, because where launch bay is, it's around Star Tours.
No. Launch bay, at least where we went?
Yeah.
Did they move launch bay since?
They might be moving it into,
Okay, well, that would make more sense. I thought you were talking about...
Because, no, you gotta think, I mean, they're still probably gonna have you meet the characters, so... You'd have that in Galaxy's Edge, so...
Well, yeah, no, I agree, but
so launch bay's not gonna, like, be abolished. I'm sure it'll be in there, and I don't see why there wouldn't be Jawas.
All I was saying was, where launch bay is currently...
And we're talking Disney World here, not Disneyland. We're not familiar with the land.
Okay. Yeah. Well, no, because it's... Where launch bay was around the animation courtyard, was it not? Or did they move it?
Okay, so isn't it near, so Star Tours, we're looking at a map right now.
Launch bay is out by the animation courtyard, which is where the Disney Junior stuff is, the Voyage of the Little Mermaid, that area.
Now, they're going to I know they're getting rid of the Jedi training.
Well, yeah, but that's all over here. Why would you don't need Jedi training anymore. You got this whole thing over here.
Right.
I mean, it's all coming here, right? New, incredible celebration. Oh, okay, well, that's there. But this is where they're building Star Wars in I guess, the southwest corner of...
Which, if Star Tours is here, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's probably more going to be, like, around...
It's this.
It is that? Okay.
It's this. Because they want people to go here. I feel like the Muppets area is definitely in trouble.
Muppets area.
We haven't got any more details other than the main details from that teaser, but a 28-minute ride sounds pretty awesome. The Millennium Falcon ride also sounds like as long as they make it unique enough that it's not just Star Tours, and it should be a combination of Star Tours and Mission Space where you press a button, that's what I would like.
My question is, how they currently have the fireworks show, Star Wars fireworks show in front of Grauman's?
Oh,
they're obviously going to move that into Galaxy's Edge. My question is, like, where... So, as far as I know, they're building, like, a new planet. I don't... From what I've seen, doesn't seem like there's an obvious place where they would project... Like, how they project everything on Grauman's.
But maybe they don't need to project things anymore.
Oh, no, they're going to project things. That's the Disney thing to do now. You project them. They're not going to project... Like, they're going to project that whole story that they do on Grauman's in some way. They might reorient it, but... That's part of the show.
I know, but the thing is, do you really need... The problem with having it at Grauman it's right in the center of the park.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm sure there's going to be a place in the new park where it is.
I know, I just don't like the projections. It's like, you're already having fireworks. Why do you need projections on top of that? Call me old school.
I like the projections.
Anyway, so yeah, that's what I have on.
Yeah, so the
Galaxy's Edge.
Sounds
We will.
fun.
I'm sure we'll get a lot more details as time comes out.
Also, I'm thinking that they might at Celebration talk more about it.
I would imagine.
April.
I would imagine since the two are very connected right now. I'm sure there will be some panel about it.
Right, and
because it's about. I mean, at that point in
it'll
April,
be 2 months out from the Disneyland launch.
Oh, it's in June.
June. The Disneyland's in June. And then.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, it's in June, and then.
I thought the teaser that was released last month.
The articles are saying June.
Okay, I believe.
And then fall is the Disney World one, because I think Disney World started a little later, and also they were building Toy Story Land at the same time, so I think they kind of had to get Toy Story Land built first.
Of course.
Because that movie's coming out, so they had to get that going. But yeah, so that's Galaxy's Edge, and that sounds a lot of fun. And they haven't given any new details about the hotel where that's supposed to be. And
yeah.
So I'm sure we'll be hearing more about that too. But I would expect there'll be a panel at Celebration talking more about that and showing more stuff. And if I get the opportunity during my Celebration stint, I will do my best and try to get in there. So we are going to move on to kind of more episode 9 related news. It's kind of been very slow.
Well, of course, we're getting close to we're 3 months out from, or excuse me, 2.5 months out from Celebration.
Yes.
And they're going to hold back for now. I know the rumors always fly around this time of year because there's a big event here in America. It's called the Super Bowl.
Right.
And generally everyone thinks that because it's a big event, you get a lot of eyes. It'd be a big deal to unveil something big here. But the problem is that, at least in my estimation, if you unveil something Star Wars related during the Super Bowl, it kind of gets overshadowed by the Super Bowl. The commercials are usually a secondary thing that people laugh at, and we go back and watch, oh, what a silly commercial. But to announce real news doesn't really come out during the Super Bowl.
I think people got that in their head because of Solo, but Solo had a lot working against it. There was no Celebration that year to launch anything. Also, the movie was coming out in 3 months at that point, and they didn't have any footage debuting it already. So it's like they needed to use that. But I don't think that we're going to have that, but we're going to talk about that a little later on with the when we think the teaser's going to come out. All right, so now we're going to dive into some episode 9 news. Like we said, it's kind of light. We haven't gotten much. They're still filming, we know that. But we've gotten some news in the past week or so. So on January 15th, John Boyega, who's pretty much the only remaining new cast member on social media at this point, like all the female cast members are out. The only one who has survived the harassment.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't mean to say surviving is that in that regard,
but
yes.
It kind of is. I mean, Daisy Ridley got harassed off of Instagram.
Such a shame.
Kelly Marie Tran got harassed off of Instagram. So, and Oscar Isaacs and Adam Driver don't have any social media.
Could you imagine if the both of them had social media? It'd be
my god!
It'd be the complete opposite of what Daisy Ridley and I'm sorry, I don't know the
Kelly Marie Tran
got.
Yeah,
it's such a shame.
It'd be really creepy comments.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of really creepy comments. That's the way to put it.
But anyway, so John Boyega posted on his Instagram on January 15th. Picture of Finn's hands, and they look kind of
they're his hands.
Well, yeah, his hands, but supposed to be Finn's.
Yeah, I know. I get what you're saying.
And they look kind of rough, and there's a few drops of blood. And he wrote this. He said, "Great day working on set. The whole team pushed themselves today to achieve something visually crazy. I've had many moments of shock on set, but not like today, and I can't wait until you know why. #FN2187. So, what do you think this could be related to? Because I have my theories.
What it could be related to?
What he's talking about. Achieving something visually crazy. He's posting these pictures of, his hands that are, kind of rough and bloody. What?
No, honestly, I have not spent time speculating over why his hands are rough. It looks like he just did a lot of work.
Well, what we were saying, and this is kind of a popular...
Explain who we is?
Well, just in general, the fandom, the collective, the part of the fandom I'm in.
The collective.
Yes.
I love that terminology.
On Tumblr, essentially. The Raylo section of Tumblr.
The collective.
I'm just going to call us the collective. There's been speculation of Finn ultimately causing a stormtrooper rebellion in a way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've heard that before.
So we think that maybe it has something to do with that. I don't know what the visually crazy moment is.
But why would his hands be rough?
Because maybe he's fighting to the death? I don't know.
Rough like that? Okay.
First of all, do not look at these comments because they are toxic and hideous. Horrendous. I mean, there's some awful stuff here people are posting.
Let me just take a view.
Where's this one?
Wow.
Yeah. So, there's just some Star Wars... There's some negativity on there.
That's incredibly...
Oh, yeah, and the one below it is great, too. Anywho. Never read the comments on...
That is terrible. But to have hands like that, that's not like fighting hands. That's like working hands.
But then what is he talking about visually crazy?
Okay, well, let's put it this way. Those are hands that are not like, either they are, so clearly, like I said, working man hands, war hands. So you're out in the battlefield. You're not on a stormtrooper ship. Or a first order ship. Mm-hmm. You're out in the field somewhere. You're in the desert somewhere.
Yeah. Could be.
What it could be is, I mean, okay, I think about it this way. Probably because I've just recently been watching stuff like this. It's like, that's the way his hands look. It looks like Indiana Jones's hands.
True.
So, like, it could be something that he's on a journey to get something.
True.
Where he's going through, like, let's say, ancient ruins. Like we talked about.
But something visually crazy.
Well, visually crazy could mean anything, though. That's...
Okay, but the big thing here, he didn't do hashtag Finn. It's hashtag FN2187. So that's why everybody thinks it has to do with the Stormtroopers. Because that was his Stormtrooper name.
Okay, right, that was his Stormtrooper name, but does that necessarily mean that it's about the Stormtroopers, or does that mean he's going back to his roots?
But wouldn't he go back to his roots mean he's a Stormtrooper again?
No, but like...
I don't know.
Remind me, because I'm not as up as you are about these things. So they talked about, in the Force Awakens, when they talked about him being taken, right? Did they
right, they basically, Hux would take the Stormtroopers as children or babies, essentially, and they would...
So, maybe he's going back to find his real name.
True.
Because Finn was given to him based on that name.
Yes.
Finn's not his real name.
Yeah.
So, maybe he's going back.
Does that really matter, though, in terms of, like, where he came from? In terms of the narrative?
Clearly, no. I would think not. But maybe it's the sort of thing where everyone of the Stormtroopers wants to reconnect with their family, or they don't want to be just essentially farmed to become resistance or first order members.
Right, exactly. And maybe it's this idea of like, I don't know, this is like the literary person in me, but like it's him being more human, I guess, because when you're a Stormtrooper, you're conditioned not to be, essentially.
Of course.
So, I don't know. I mean, I think it's interesting that talking about visually crazy and that he puts hashtag FN2187.
Right.
So as opposed to hashtag Finn or anything like...
Again, I'm going to go under the assumption Finn ain't his real name.
Well, yeah, obviously.
So that must mean something.
Yeah. I don't know. Finn's arc is one of those arcs that can go anywhere just because they kind of dropped the ball a bit in The Last Jedi with him. Because there's just so much going on, and I still say this to this day, Poe got too much screen time and took it away from Finn.
Well, that was never, honestly, I agree with you. That was never the original plan. They enjoyed Oscar Isaac's performance, and they wanted to keep him on.
Because the original 3 were supposed to be Kylo Ren and Finn.
Right.
And I would like this movie to revolve around the original 3.
Yeah.
And not so much Poe. So, we'll see. But I just thought that was interesting. So, something else related to another character in Star Wars is Screen Rant on January 14th posted an article called Adam Driver Knew Kylo Ren Star Wars 9 Story Arc from the Start. So this, when I read this kind of refutes this claim that people had. It was like Disney didn't have any of this planned out, that they just kind of let filmmakers do whatever they want. And me and other people on Tumblr have always refuted that because they have a story group. And the story group is there because they ultimately plan out the arc, and it's like they give the director or the writer, freedom. It's like, we need to get to here. How you decide to get to here is really up to you. Oh. So when Rian Johnson was like, no, it was my story, I made the decisions, he ultimately had to work in, like, this is the end game we are trying to achieve. Right. How you get there is up to you. And, like, when JJ was coming up with all this stuff, this was in the beginning, and this article kind of confirms this. So, basically, the article quotes, and this is a quote from Adam Driver about, I guess, when they were initially working on the script for Episode 7. So, with Star Wars, I had one piece of information where it was all going, and that's where it's been in my head for a long time, and that things were building towards that. It's kind of just other stuff there that has nothing to do with Star Wars. But it's just basically saying that they've had this one piece of information that has kind of driven the whole narrative. So, again, I don't think, and I've talked to you a little bit about this, it reminds me of Snape from Harry Potter, because if Kylo was supposed to just be the bad guy who dies at the end, unredeemed, he's the big bad, would that be something that you really need to, like, tell somebody to have them work towards and keep secret, unless they were like, it's a redemption arc? It was the same thing with Snape. When the Harry Potter movies first started, the book series wasn't done yet. J.K. Rowling ultimately told Alan Rickman that, look, you were in love with Harry's mom, and that you're, like, secretly working for Dumbledore.
Right.
And he knew that piece of information and based his performance on that. That's why, like, in the early movies, he's always, like, staring at Harry's eyes, because, he's imagining Lily and everything. So, I kind of think it's that same sort of thing. They were like, okay, you're going to be redeemed or whatever else is going on, so he's built his performance off of that. Because I think if you're just like, you're just a big bad that's going to die in the end, like, if he's signed up to be the villain, that's not something you need to keep secret. So no, I think it's more like, yeah. So, it's going to be interesting, but I think that kind of is another notch in the redemption section of, the debates.
I guess we'll see.
We'll have to see.
There's only one way to find out, right?
Right. And we have some... I wish I was joking about this, Star Wars news.
I have no comments on this. This is infuriating.
When I found this, I was like, we need to talk about this.
I think you mentioned the last podcast, and I went, please don't say this to people.
I don't even remember when I did. There's this article from comicbook.com, basically saying that Jar Jar Binks in an Age of Resistance comic gets a lightsaber.
No. I still don't believe it.
Basically, in the article, Jar Jar momentarily has a lightsaber when he saves a clone trooper.
Boy, that is
but he loses it.
Dumbest thing.
He loses it in true Jar Jar fashion.
No, he fumbles it.
He fumbles it.
In the comic...
Misa, fumble lightsaber!
It's infuriating. Apparently, in the story of this comic book, some general guy lost his lightsaber, and then, just when the clone trooper was going to be destroyed, swing, you see the stormtroopers.
It's me, Jar Jar
and he goes, General so, and he goes, not quite. That was terrible, Jar Jar, but that's not the point.
It's a me, Jar Jar Binks. This is Jar Jar Mario.
Okay, don't mind our Jar Jar. Wow, we were just really bad at that. Anywho,
excuse me. You said the Misa people gonna die? Misa free.
Okay,
I can keep going here. I can keep saying more Jar Jar lines.
Yeah, I think the audience and I would really appreciate if you stopped.
But why? He's got so many classic lines.
Classic.
We give emergency powers to Chancellor Palpatine. Nice going, idiot.
Dello Felgets.
That's right. Dello Felgets.
Dello Felgets. That's all you need to know about Jar Jar.
Dello Felgets.
Yes. Anyway, the point is that he slices somebody and then he fumbles the lightsaber.
Misa been banished. Misa clumsy.
Yeah. I just wish that they would just let that character go away. He doesn't have to die.
Jar Jar will never die.
Jar Jar just needs to go away.
No.
Just leave, please.
You know he's always there. Like, even as you're watching movies, you're like, he's still alive somewhere. He's on Naboo somewhere, doing something. Being an idiot.
I still don't like it, and I'm still not happy about it. And I don't think that character needs to be mentioned on this podcast ever again.
Where's the comic book where Jawa gets a lightsaber? I want to see that.
I agree. But Jajas are Jajas.
Jajas. It's a weird Jar Jar and Jawa.
Jawas.
There's a lot of J words in Star Wars. Jedi, Jar Jar, Jawas,
Keep going.
Jabba, Django. There's a lot of J stuff.
Seems like there should be more.
Yeah, can't think off the top of my head. You get the picture. There's a lot of
Yeah, there's 6 J things. That's a lot.
There's a lot to say. And they kind of Jar Jar, Jawas, Jabba. They kind of sound the same a little bit.
Anyway.
Yes.
Jawas are severely undercut in this sequel trilogy. And that's why I am... But, there's still one more, so...
There's rumors that Rey's going to tattoo, so...
Well, boy, I hope that's the case. And anyway, we were going to talk about one last thing.
Right, so we're going to talk about how we think this year in Star Wars is essentially going to play out. So, like, when they're going
The year in Star Wars, 2019.
When they're going to release the trailer, when, like, all the media stuff comes out. Luckily, I kind of know layout because of, like, the past...
You're just such an expert. This will be... So, about this time next year, in 2020, is when we'll be expected to see all the Oscar nominations that Star Wars Episode 9 gets.
Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, and then the MTV Movie Award for Best Kiss. Oh, yes.
Do they still do that?
Yes, they do, and it will be a Kylo
Why
Ray
does
kiss.
MTV think that they need to do a movie awards?
Best Kiss.
But why do they think they need to do that?
Because MTV...
Do they still give out the Spaceman?
That's VMAs. They give out the popcorn for the movie. Now they're movie and TV awards. But
why does MTV do that? What is it?
I don't know.
I'm not gonna
but anywho, Best Kiss next year, Kylo, right? No, it'll happen. Don't dampen my dreams.
You're lucky if you get a kiss.
We're gonna get a kiss, okay? Listen, we're getting the whole shebang here, okay?
Some people might consider the whole shebang to be a lot more than a kiss, lady.
When we do our predictions podcast closer to the release of the movie...
Predictions, redux.
Yeah. Well, after the trailer comes out, we have a little bit more of an idea what the story's going to do. I will tell you what I think
we're going to have an idea what the story's going to do?
At least we're going to see... Don't rain on my parade.
Oh, come on.
In the name of... The words of Barbara Streisand do not rain on my parade.
But yeah, we'll discuss later when the trailer comes out if we get any more details. But Let's go. Brittany, why don't you tell the audience what the year in Star Wars 2019 is going to be?
Let me just make sure my lucky dice are,
I noticed.
Hanging out here. Okay. Got my Han Solo lucky dice necklace. So I think the movie's supposed to stop filming in February. So around this time last year, we got The Last Jedi. Not last year. 2017. We got the title for The Last Jedi. And everybody's been kind of expected. The Last Jedi was finished filming at that point. So I'm kind of thinking it's going to happen in February, because February's kind of like, I feel like for Disney there's not much going on. They have Captain Marvel doesn't come out until March, and Avengers in April. So they're kind of like a dead month where they can kind of do announcements. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that'd be a big thing to kind of generate it. Especially since I don't think they're going to do the Super Bowl thing.
No, I agree.
So a better way to, get people interested is like, okay, here's the title, you guys speculate. It's a little nugget until Celebration April.
No, okay, be a little bit more specific. When?
February.
When? Mid-February?
I'm thinking mid, but just because they're going to be finished filming in February, and I feel
so
like
you say we're getting a
kind
Valentine's Day gift?
Ooh, it'd be lovely. That'd be wonderful.
There you go. Okay, so Valentine's Day, around Valentine's Day, we're going to get the title.
A New Order. And then I suspect, obviously, in April in Celebration, that they will do the teaser. Because it's just been, they did that for Force Awakens and for The Last Jedi, so I assume that that's when they're going to do the teaser release for Episode 9, and also kind of give us, like, names of new characters like they did at the other panels, and photos, and little tidbits of information. And then usually in May or June, they have, like, the Vanity Fair spread that they did. They only do it for, like, the sequel trilogies. What?
No, I like how you have it this much down. When I was considering what the 2019 Star Wars is going to be, when the Vanity Fair cover comes out.
I had this all planned out. This is, just wait, okay? But the Vanity Fair thing's kind of big. Like, they did it for Force Awakens, and they did it for Last Jedi, and so, that's going to come out.
Vanity Fair shoot. Oh, much important in the world of Star Wars.
It is, because, it gives us, it's our first big article on the movie, so it's like, gives us some info on it. Although the reporting in The Last Jedi one, it caused a lot of stuff, because we were all like, there's no central romance. We're like, no. And then we saw the movie, we're like, that was editorializing. Anyway, and then in July, I think D23, and that's when they usually do the behind-the-scenes reel. So that's when I assume that'll be released. September will be Force Friday 3. So the merch will come out.
Force Friday 3.
Yes.
The merch will come out, and you can buy it at so many places like...
Oh, yeah, because our Disney's not around anymore, so we have to travel a little bit. And Toys R Us isn't there.
Yeah, I was going to say, Disney Store isn't anywhere close to us anymore. They closed down.
Oh, well,
we're going to have to, but Toys R Us is gone because the world doesn't like...
And I don't want to go to Walmart or Target.
80s or 90s kids.
I want the Elite Series figures, and only Disney Store has those.
Yeah, well, I guess you're going to have to drive out there.
I will. Anyway, then October is when they usually have the trailer debut at the football game, along with
the halftime,
the poster, and the tickets. And then December the movie will be out.
Yeah, and that's the point where Brittany gets to go to the theater and wait ever so patiently as she fights with the people at the AMC theater who know but don't know about what
he's talking about.
The tickets are coming out.
Is when Force Awakens.
Oh man, that was fantastic.
That was great. So, I'm not usually a pushy person when it comes to stuff, but except for Star Wars. Hey, okay. So we were told that tickets would go on sale halftime. I couldn't get onto Fandango for the life of me because it kept crashing. So I was calling the AMC near us and being like, okay, is this going to go on sale? They're like, we don't know. Or they weren't able to, like, release it because Disney didn't give them the okay. I'm like, they're for sale online. And so I ended up driving. I
think, if I remember correctly, when they were very cryptic with it. They didn't say no. They just went like, not right now.
The thing was, they were selling them online. They weren't physically selling them at the movie theater. And I couldn't get onto Fandango. It kept crashing.
But no.
Yes. They were on sale online.
Are you confusing The Last Jedi?
No, because Last Jedi was easy to get.
Oh, right. AMC's website kept crashing, and so did Fandango.
Yeah. Right. Last Jedi was easy to get, because I logged on early and I got it.
I forgot. It was crashed, so you couldn't get online tickets.
So it was like, the Fandango, only a few people did, so I tried calling, and they were like, they're not on sale yet. And I was like, but they're on sale online. And they're like, well, yeah, but we didn't have something like we didn't have permission to release them.
They did not tell you that. Once you got to the store, they told you that.
Yeah.
When you called them, they said, well, they're not on sale right now.
So I'm driving.
And the phone calls I got freaked out Brittany, like, oh, I don't know what's happening. How are we going to get tickets? Oh, my goodness. I'm like,
I'm driving around like a mad woman. So I'm driving there, and I go up to them, and I'm like, I want to buy Star Wars tickets. And they were like, well, they're not on sale yet. I'm like, but they're on sale online. So they're like, you have to wait until we get, like, confirmation from Disney.
And they point her over to a little corral where there's, like, 10 other Star Wars fans.
So meanwhile, I'm waiting.
Are all just waiting there on their cell phones, waiting like, what the heck's going on?
And also, it's like I'm missing the trailer at this point. I didn't see the trailer live. You saw the trailer,
right? Because at the point the trailer went live,
tickets went.
That's when AMC got the call to say, okay, you can start selling tickets
online,
physically.
Or physically, yeah. So I missed the trailer, and so I'm standing in this like corral, and I'm like, "What?" And you're like, "Oh, the trailer looks so good. I want to see this." I'm like, "Oh my god, I want these tickets." So the AMC was gonna close at like 10 or something.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
And so it was like 5 minutes to, and they're like, or something, and like. Tickets went on sale, so I jumped in. I was like, I need to get up there because I'm like, I needed 5 tickets, and I was like, and I knew that there wasn't gonna be many spaces left because people already bought them online. So I like jumped up and like, I need 5 for the Force Awakens, and luckily got like 5 in a row. But it was like, it was intense, and I finally got home and got to watch the trailer, but it was like too much stress. But the Last Jedi one was easy because I went on AMC's website and they had like a time period when they were releasing, so I just kept like. An hour and a half before, I just kept like refreshing.
You got in before the crash.
Yeah, and I kept refreshing. It was like, oh, they're on sale before the trailer came out. Boom, I'm buying them. Okay, and it was like smooth sailing. So I'm kind of planning on doing that again this year. Like get on early and just keep refreshing on AMC, especially since I have the A-list now. But
A-lister over here.
Yeah, it's really good. But yeah, so that's ultimately how I see it.
Okay, well, see the thing clearly. There's some definites in what you're saying. Trailer gets released and details get released in Celebration.
Well, I could be wrong. I mean, they could do a Super Bowl thing, but I don't think it makes sense.
No, I agree with it. What I'm telling you is I agree with you. Those are fundamental things. Trailer and details come out in April with Celebration.
Because what else, if you give the trailer away at Super Bowl, what aside from like the TV show stuff, what are you going to show at Celebration?
Exactly. That's the reason you go to Celebration.
I mean, seriously, I'd be pissed if I paid that money I did to go to Celebration. Well, the teaser's not there.
It still could, but I doubt it.
Yeah. No, I think Disney's going to use that spot for Captain Marvel and Avengers. Since those movies come out a lot sooner than Star Wars does.
That sounds logical to me. I would think that...
And also because they're going to finish in February, and they're going to do reshoots, too, because reshoots are always scheduled in movies, or, like, pickups and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to have all that much to show at that point, so they need a little more time to put it together. They want a good teaser to, like, entice people. But everybody has this theory of how the trailer is going to start, because the first trailer starts with Finn popping up out of nowhere. The second teaser, that was for Force Awakens. Then the first teaser for Last Jedi starts with Rey popping out of nowhere. Yeah, remember? It was like, okay, so the Force Awakens teaser starts on Jakku, and he pops up.
Yes.
Okay, and then it starts with like Last Jedi, and it's on the rock in her hand, and then like she's like pops. So everybody's like, if the 3 main characters are Rey, Finn, and Kylo, then Kylo's got to start.
I don't know.
The
boxes show Poe Dameron
because don't even.
The boxes show Poe Dameron. It should be Poe Dameron.
Anywho, Kylo will start because I could totally see the teaser being like him as the Supreme Leader, which will be for like 5 minutes probably. And
he's still just saying, "Blow that ship out of the sky,"
no,
and blow that ship out of the sky,
he's gonna be
and
super,
blow that ship out of the sky.
He's gonna be sitting there with a flower. She loves me. She loves me not. She loves me. She loves me not. She loves me.
And blow that ship out of the sky. And blow that ship out of the sky.
And meanwhile, Baby Come Back will be playing, being like, "I'm so sorry."
Wait,
me too.
Is he Kylo Ren or Star-Lord?
At this point, he's gonna be Sad Boy Kylo Ren.
Yeah, so he's gonna be Star-Lord. Anyway.
Yes, pretty much.
Okay, so thank you for giving me a chance to talk about what I expect the 2019 Star Wars year to look like.
You could chime in at any point.
I did, and then you chimed in more about what you expect the trailer to be.
Because I think you're wrong with Poe. Who gives a crap about Poe? This story's not about him.
Listen, I'm just telling you what the public...
Because the public is simple-minded.
No, I'm not saying what was publicly distributed to everyone.
Because it was easy for them to understand.
You like action figures, you like the merchandise. The merchandise showed what? 3 characters.
Because they didn't want to give away the fact that if we show Finn, Rey, and Kylo together, it might give away the connection. And also it's because, this reminds us of old Star Wars where we had two guys and a girl. One's a pilot. One's like on a desert planet. And one is...
Let's remind the audience of what Kevin Smith said about a certain person's performance bringing him to tears.
It is not Oscar Isaac.
It is Oscar Isaac. I'm putting my money on it.
Put my money on Mark Hamill or Billy D.
Billy D. Williams couldn't perform out of a shoebox nowadays. Unfortunately,
then it's Mark Hamill. It's not Oscar Isaac.
It's Oscar Isaac.
No.
Yes.
Poe is not going to have any real emotional things to deal with.
Oh, what are you talking about? He's so many emotional moments in this two movies. I'm getting off topic. My year in Star Wars, as I was saying to you before, fundamental things. There are fundamental things. Trailer comes out in April. Details come out in April. Behind the scenes stuff comes out in July. A second trailer comes out in like October, November. Probably October. But I don't think your title comes until March.
No, because I think they're going to have panels announced by then. And they're going to want a title for the Episode 9 panel.
Why would they have to do that now? Why would they have to... Okay, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
The Star Wars Celebration sold out?
Yeah.
Then why would they need to announce the panels that early?
So we can plan out, prepare.
They don't
So
care.
I know exactly what day the Episode 9 panel is and when I have to sleep over.
Right, I gotcha. But the thing is, it doesn't matter. It's not like they need to announce the panels to get more people in there because, man, they haven't sold out and they need to sell more things. So if they advertise the panel, that way they'll get more people to come in.
I just want the title. Okay?
I know what you
I
want
the title.
I'm telling you.
And I want to have a whole nice podcast episode, you know, like breaking down the title, the New Order. And then saying how I was on that bandwagon early. The New Order one.
We get it. You want to
It's the perfect title for 9. And if it's not the title... I'd be so disappointed because it's just perfect.
Brittany's more concerned with the fact of whether she's right or wrong.
No, it's perfect. If they're going to continue the story the way it is, A New Order is the perfect title because it combines both. It's balance.
A New Balance shoe.
A New Balance shoe.
But yeah, I don't think you're getting your title until March.
Ugh.
They have no reason to give it to you earlier.
Give us something.
No, they don't have to give you anything. You're hooked. They've sold all the tickets for Star Wars Celebration.
But, no, I think that they are going to give us this early because I think that...
Why?
Because, not that they've lost fans over 8, but they got to kind of...
A title reveal is going to bring back fans, Brittany?
They're going to start...
A title reveal? 1 month difference? They're going to want...
I think they're going to start the marketing sooner rather than
When
later.
does Captain Marvel come out?
March.
When in March? Early March, late March?
Early March.
Early March, right. Get Captain Marvel and that hype out of the way, and then BAM!
Okay.
Sorry, that was...
Be careful with my sound. Okay.
Sorry for the listeners. We'll have to...
Anywho, I think that they're going to start the marketing sooner rather than later because they really want to, like, push this movie as being like, it's the last one, bringing fans back. And
push the movie. You release the title and then you have nothing for 2 months. Nothing for 2 months is the key.
No, because we'll speculate forever. You want to give
You will speculate forever.
Excuse me. All the time.
Okay, your point was to bring fans back. Do you think that what fan, if they're that fickle, is going to be debating?
Reddit will.
Those aren't casual fans on Reddit.
I'm not talking about casual fans. We're talking about the angry fans.
No. You said, angry fans are always going to react. You never lost the angry fans. You're silly if you thought you lost the angry fans. The angry fans always want to be angry.
We're not watching 9 now. We lost interest in it.
Listen, Brittany. The same people who said that are probably some of the same people who listen to this podcast.
Sorry, but not.
Well, no, I'm just saying, if you're angry, it's possible that they would have this podcast. I'm not saying everyone did.
True.
People that are angry are obviously invested.
Yeah.
You're saying bring back the casual fan because they didn't like it.
I'm not talking about the casual fan. I'm talking about,
listen, here's what I'm going to say. The people that have watched 7 and 8 clearly like Star Wars.
Yes.
So they have a history of watching probably all the Star Wars movies.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think they're going to boycott 9? Do you really think so?
People think that who boycotted Solo think that they
No. First off, you cannot compare the Solo film.
No, but what I'm saying is that the movement to boycott it, they think that they won and that they have control, and
Brittany,
they're like, we're going to do this for 9.
Brittany. The people that boycott the movie, you don't have any proof that they actually boycotted, did you?
No.
Exactly. So, that BS about boycotting, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
So first
we're
off.
getting off topic.
Secondly, the people that watched 7 and 8 and got outraged, I don't know about you, but if I was one of them, I'd want to go in and watch it and be really disappointed if I was one of them. I'd find every little problem wrong with it. My friends,
I guess it's true. I'm gonna see Endgame even though I didn't like Infinity War.
Exactly. I know that there's gonna be some people that went, Force Awakens was just like A New Hope, and Last Jedi was just like Empire Strikes Back.
Please.
So let's see if Episode 9 is just like Return of the Jedi. I guarantee you a lot of people are going to want to watch and see if that happens.
You know what? They already had parallels to Return of the Jedi in The Last Jedi, so I expect this to be something new.
Well, therein lies the problem with Star Wars sometimes. Can't get everything new. You're going to see similarities because it's supposed to be that way.
It's poetry.
Oh, you take my best lines. I was going to say that myself.
Well, great minds think alike.
A great director once said, it's like poetry. It rhymes.
And the same great director once said, I may have taken it too far in a few places. And Jar Jar is the key to all this. If we can get him working, then we get the whole thing working.
And he also said it's stylistically designed to be that way, but now we just have to reduce the effects of it.
We have to do, yeah. He was talking about like how there's so much going on. He's like, it's stylistically designed to be this way, but we just have to diminish the effects.
We just love watching George and the making of Star Wars Episode 1 and how it just turns into a giant train wreck. Actually, the entire time. I was going to say towards the end, but it's actually a giant train wreck the entire time, especially with what happens with the set.
Yeah, well, the same thing happened with A New Hope.
Right, but I'm just...
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, I know. I'm
Come
just
on,
saying.
we're talking about Episode 1.
It's poetry, it rhymes.
I don't think he was thinking about that when he said it's like poetry.
Well,
it rhymes, and his set blows up for Episode 1.
It's poetry, it rhymes. I just want to sure this just says that. Anyway.
Well, actually, poetry doesn't always rhyme.
It doesn't have to. But anyway, that's all we have for this.
You know what the similarities between Episode 1 and Episode 4 are?
What?
There's Jawas in both of them.
As I was saying, this is all we have for this month's episode.
This is all. Only an hour's worth of content.
Well, I mean, we could come up with another episode if I'm right and they release the title sooner rather than later.
Well,
we'll have a whole episode dedicated to it.
We'll have an episode in February, so it's not like...
we might have, if it's early February. We usually do later episodes.
We usually do later episodes, so we're going to have a later episode.
No, we'll do one right when the title comes out, because we got to get this out. We got to be relevant. Got to keep up with the time.
You're right, but the problem is it's not coming out in February, so you're going to...
It's going to come out in February, because I'm right, so... All right, well, we'll see.
We'll see. We will...
Just like I'm right about Mustafar. Anyway... That's it for this episode.
Boy,
you can follow us on...
Boy, I really can't wait for 11 months from now to actually get on this podcast and tell you what were you thinking.
I can't wait to get on this podcast and be like, I was right. Mustafar was in it.
Boy,
and Kylo and Rey had to fight out Mustafar.
I'd like to go through all our podcasts and just note how many times you are concerned with how you are right.
Well, when we do... November this year, we will do a massive, predictions podcast. And we'll see who comes out victorious.
Well, we don't have to worry about that, do we?
Exactly, we won't, because I will.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, you can follow us. You can follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @NemaOutpostPod. You can also listen to us on SoundCloud and YouTube. And you can follow me on Tumblr. My Tumblr screen name is the 4I, that's 4 spelled out, EYED Jedi, and my blog title is Darkness Rises and Light to Meet It. So until next time, may the Force be with you, and...